we continue with the conversation, and I appreciate all of you who have faithfully followed the issues that we have kept raising in this conversation. I call it a conversation because you're welcome to write back to us by way of feedback, and we'll, in subsequent program, try to respond to some of the issues that you may raise. But I've been dealing with a very, very important subject of trust, because I'm fully persuaded that trust matters. And trust matters in all relationships, beginning with the basic relationships. And the basic relationship in this context is relationships within the family institution. And it is so, so important that we can be able to have values that inform trust as a very, very important attribute in which we cannot compromise. We have very, very poor examples, particularly when you look to the public sector, to the political sector, because in those platforms, the aspect of trust seems to be very, very temporary. And it's a fact, but it's good to admit it, that particularly within what is called the political world, there are no permanent enemies, neither are there permanent friends. The only thing that is permanent between them is interests. But we cannot have that within the church world. In church, it must be different. In church, my yes needs to be a yes, and my no needs to be a no. When we talk about trust, there are several quotes that I'm going to be able to bring to your attention, cited by people who are authoritative in the platform of leadership. A gentleman called DeMarco, a CEO of Institute for Priority Thinking, said leadership is a communication relationship characterized by trust and goodwill. Leadership is a communications relationship characterized by those two aspects, trust and goodwill. And another author of a book entitled The Leader's Legacy, which was written in the year 2006, Koze and Posner, who have co-authored the book, have this quote: "Trust is a social glue that binds human relationships." The trust is the social glue that binds any human relationships. And it is very, very important that we learn to cultivate trust, engaging and applying the biblical values. Because when you talk about biblical values, you're talking about the aspect of being truthful. Because you can never build a healthy relationship based on falsehood. Whether you're talking about relationships within the family platform, within the business platform, within the institutions of any form, if falsehood will work against any healthy relationship. And one of the things that even within the basic family unit that needs to be there between my wife and I is truthfulness. It is not important that my wife can go and double check anything I communicate to her or demand that I swear that I'm talking the truth, because It should not be that I can be given to falsehood, because falsehood of any form, and I admire couples who understand they have to live in a way of transparency in which they are not hiding from each other, and they are able to walk in a degree of words that have been used many times, like accountability, to where there is that aspect of two words that sometimes are used in government, but I don't know how much they exercise: transparency and accountability. Within the church world, the same way. So as we converse around this very, very important subject, I want to bring out some of the issues that are very critical in relationships when it comes to the question of trust. And again, remember, we are addressing this subject from a leadership perspective. So in leadership and life, trust is the currency that connects us beyond the surface and transforms individuals into a cohesive, high-performing team. Whether you're talking about a small team or a big team, what keeps the team performance high is the strength that defines them in terms of the trust that they have built between themselves. And this is very, very important, that we know it's possible to have strong teams because we are deliberate in our core and responsibility of being trustworthy. We also establish that if you want to unlock the secret to achieving what matters most to you, you can only do so by leveraging the one thing that fuels success. It's amazing to realize that the one thing that fuels success is trust. I was talking to a preacher not long ago who was being interviewed by, he's professionally an engineer, and as an engineer, he went to this particular interview and they wanted to know what is that one thing that is going to bring within the job that is unique. And he answered a way that baffled the panelists, because he said, what I'm going to bring to this is faith. And my preacher friend said the panelists felt like he was out of order because they didn't think that. One of them said, what does your engineering career has to do with faith? And he said something that was so fundamental. And when he was giving me this testimony, that is something I captured. And it's something I would like to reference in some of my writing, giving credit to him. That he told them, hey, listen, the structure, the structure, when you talk about engineering, you're talking about developing structure. And he said, when you put up a building, that building is as secure as the integrity of the engineer who approved the materials that were used, the mixing of the concrete. The integrity of the building is dependent. So he brought an issue they had never thought about, that what makes a building secure is not just because someone took a job because of their professionalism, because somebody can have very, very good professional credentials, but if they are not given to faith to where they fear God, there's a way they can compromise because of wanting to have an advantage of some things, compromising standards. And we have seen that happen in our country many times when buildings are collapsing. Why would a building that has been drawn and supervised by engineers collapse just because of the discrepancy of the people who are the chief engineers, whether they are truthful or they are not truthful. So integrity becomes a very, very important aspect. So this is a conversation we're going to carry on a little bit. I want to say that please follow us in this conversation, which is so, so important, a call to be trustworthy. The Lord bless you. We look forward to the next conversation soon.